Tutorial. In this video you will learn how to create a barrel in Blender 2.9. So let's get started. In the beginning we select this object with the box selection tool and delete them with X key. Go to the front view with the one numpad key and with Shift A go to image and background and select the image from the folder of your project. So here we search for barrel, select the background image like this and move this image up on the z-axis like this. Okay, now to begin modeling this barrel we need to add a cylinder. So with Shift A go to mesh and select a cylinder, change the number of vertices to 12, go to the edit mode with tab key and in the wireframe with Z key move this cylinder on the Z axis and scale it with S like this. Deselect all the vertices with Alt A, select these vertices with box selection tool and move it down on the Z axis. Deselect the vertices with Alt A and with the box selection tool select these vertices and move them up like this. Now we need to add some edge loops to the cylinder, so with Ctrl R add an edge loop and move it up to that position. Add two other edge loops here with Ctrl R and two others edge loops here, one here and another one here. And another one here. Okay, with the box selection tool select these vertices and these vertices here and extrude with E key. Press the right mouse button like this and scale on the X and Y by pressing S and Shift Z like this. Go to solid shader to see the extrusion here. Okay, so in the front view and in the wireframe deselect all the vertices, select these vertices with box selection tool. So this is go to the face selection mode and deselect all the faces with Alt A and with the box selection tool with B key select these faces here, extrude them with E key and press the right mouse button, scale on the X and Y by pressing S Shift Z like this, just a little bit. Go to the solid shader to see the extrusion. Okay, now if we select these faces with Alt and the left mouse button, we can scale these faces on the Z axis by pressing S and Z. Like this. Do the same thing on these faces, so select them with Alt key and the left mouse button and scale them on the Z axis by pressing S, Z like this. And now we can add a subdivision surface to the cylinder here. Okay, very good. So go to the object mode with tab key and click on the cylinder with the right mouse button and choose shade smooth. Okay, now go to the edit mode with tab key and add some edge loops on the top here, right, like this, another one here and another one here. Okay, do the same thing in the bottom of the barrel. So add 2 edge loops here with Ctrl R on the middle mouse button, scale on the Z axis like this, and add another one here. Go to object mode with tab key and see what's now in the edit mode. You can add 2 other edge loops here and another one here and another one here. Okay, good. So now we need to add other reference image here to model the top of the barrel and the bottom part of the barrel. So here in the you click on this button and choose image editor and click open and select the folder, and here we have the reference images of the barrel on the pieces of the barrel we want to model. So here we have the top part, so we select this reference image here. So go to the edit mode with tab key. In the face selection mode, select this face and insert a face with I key like this, or maybe undo this operation like this with Ctrl Z. Select these 2 faces, the bottom one and the top one, and insert faces with I key and move the mouse like this. Extrude with E key and scale on the axis with SZ. Okay, very good. And insert 2 other faces with I key like this. Now you see the shape of the barrel. You can increment the levels viewport of the subdivision surface like this. And now we need to model these 2 pieces on top of the barrel. So if we go to the top view with 7 numpad key, we can add another background image with Shift A, and in the image background we can choose another background image like this. We can scale it with S key and move it to the left like this. So here to model this piece we need a cylinder. So go to mesh with Shift A and choose a cylinder. Move it to the right like this. In the wireframe and edit mode you can scale it like this and scale it on the Z axis by pressing Shift and Z. Go to the top view select the top face of this cylinder and insert another face with I key like this, or maybe select the two faces, so the up one and the bottom one. Go to the top view, insert face with I key like this, okay. So insert another face with I key like this, another one with I key like this, okay. And now if we go to solid shader with Z key, we can select these faces with Alt key and left mouse button, and these faces with Shift Alt key and the left mouse button. And now if we press Ctrl E, we choose bridge edge loops. No, undo this. So we can delete these faces with X key and choose faces, okay. Go to the edge selection mode, select these edges with Alt key and the left mouse button, and these edges with Shift Alt key and the left mouse button. If we press Shift E and choose bridge edge loops, we will have faces between these edges, and do the same thing with these edges here. So Ctrl E and choose bridge edge loops, okay. And now in the face selection mode, go to the top view, and in the wireframe with Z key, we can extrude this face and move it down on the Z axis like this. Go to solid shader and see the result of the operation. So now we can select this face and delete it with X key, select these faces with Alt key and the left mouse button and delete them with X key, and do the same thing with these faces, delete them with X key, and save your project with Ctrl S. Go to the folder and name your project with the name you want. I name it here Barrel, and save Blender file. We continue to model this piece, so in the top view with 7 numpad key and in the wireframe with the Z key, select this background image and rotate it with R key like this, and move it down on the Y axis, rotate it to put it in the middle of the view. Okay, now we can add a plane here. So if we select the cursor here and put it here, we can add a plane with Shift A, and in the edit mode with Tab key, scale with S key like this, okay. And now we can add a mirror modifier. So with Ctrl R, add an edge loop like this, select this face and delete it with X key, and add another edge loop here, and in the face selection mode select this face and delete it with X key like this. And now you can add a mirror modifier and enable X and Y axis like this, and enable clipping. Now go to the vertex selection mode and select these two vertices and move them back like this. Add an edge loop here and select this vertex and this one and move them like this, and add another edge loop here. Select these two vertices and move them like this, and now extrude with E key like this, move them on the Y axis like this, extrude with E key and move them back forward like this. Now select these two vertices and extrude with E key, scale with S key, move them on the X axis like this, extrude and scale with S key and move them to fit the background image. Okay, now select these two vertices and extrude and move on the X axis like this. Select these two vertices and extrude and move them on the Y axis like this. Okay, now we need to model this part of the piece here, so we can put the cursor here and we add a circle with Shift A, change the number of vertices to 8 and scale with S key like this, and disable the clipping, scale with S key, enable the clipping, scale with S key like this. Select these three vertices and delete them with X key. Or undo the last operation with Ctrl Z. Select this vertex and with Shift S choose cursor to selected, and with Shift A add the circle, change the number of vertices to 8, and now scale with S key like this, disable clipping and scale with S key and move it to the left like this and scale it with S key. And now enable clipping, and you can delete these three vertices because we have a mirror modifier, and now we can duplicate this circle with Shift D, so select it with R key and duplicate it with Shift D and scale with S key. If we put the cursor here and select this here 3D cursor, now we can scale toward the 3D cursor like this. Okay, we can scale it on the Y axis by pressing Shift S and Y. Okay, and now we can extrude with E key and scale like this, scale it on the Y axis, or maybe we can select it with R key and move it a little bit with the G key, scale it on the X axis like this. Okay, and now select the medium point here, select these vertices here and extrude and scale like this, scale on the Y by pressing S and Y, and use F to add the face between the vertices. Okay, now we can connect these vertices with F key like this. This one, move it here like this, and connect them with F key, and do the same thing with these vertices like this. Move this one here and this one here. Scale these two vertices and extrude with E key. Now put this vertex here and select these two vertices, extrude with E key, and continue to extrude like this. Select this vertex and move it back like this. This one like this, and this one like this. And now we can continue to extrude. So select these two vertices and extrude with E key like this. And now we can connect these vertices here with F key, and this one here, these four vertices with F. We need to add another edge loop here. We Control R and select in the edge selection mode, select these two edges here, connect them with F key, and do the same thing with these edges here like this. Go to the vertex selection mode, and in the solid shader we can see the piece we created here. Okay, so now in the face selection mode and in the top view and in the wireframe, we can select these faces with Alt key and the left mouse button, and extrude with E key, and move them down on the Z axis like this. Okay, and now we have to select these edges here with Alt key and the left mouse button, and use Shift key to select other edges. So Shift Alt and the left mouse button, and move them up. Move them up like this. Okay, here we can change the image here by clicking on this button here, and choose the other image to see the shape of the piece we want to model here. So now select this edge with Alt and the left mouse button, and move it up on the Z axis like this. Okay, good. Another thing to model here is this part here. So in the top view with 7 numpad key, and in the wireframe, put the cursor here and add a circle with Shift A. If we disable the mirror modifier like this, and scale with S key, and now we can enable the mirror modifier. So here we have another circle. We can delete it with X key and choose vertices, and do the operation. So here okay, Okay, like this. Delete the circle, the other circle, and now you can enable the mirror modifier like this. Select this circle with Alt key and scale it with S key like this. And now we can connect it with other piece by adding edge loops. So we need to add an edge loop here. Like this. Another one here. Another one here. Scale with X key, so press S, X and 0 to scale it on the X axis and to have this edge loop like this. Scale this edge loop with Alt and the left mouse button and scale on the X, so press S, X and 0 like this and move it to the left like this. Okay, now we need another edge loop here. And another one here, and press S, X and 0 like this. Okay, and now we can connect these vertices, so select them with the shift key and the left mouse button, press M and choose the last vertices. So select this vertex and select this one, press N and choose at last. Do the same thing here. So select this one and select this one and press N and choose at last. Here choose this one and choose this one and press M and choose at last. Here as well do the same thing, and here do the same thing, here and here. Okay, select this edge and press G twice to slide it like this. Okay, and now in the face selection mode, select these faces and press I to insert a face like this. Okay, here we can see the shape of this piece, so scale it like this with S key, or maybe select these other faces here with Shift Alt and the left mouse button and scale with S key like this. And now select these faces with Alt key and the left mouse button and extrude on the Z key like this. Move them down on the Z key like this. Okay, now you can select these faces here, insert another face with I key and move them a little bit on the Z axis like this. Okay, scale a little bit with S key like this. Okay, so now we can add a solidify modifier to this piece. So if we go to object mode and select this piece and hide it with H key. Select this piece and in the modifiers list select solidify modifier like this, and here we can see there is a little problem here. So if we press Ctrl A and choose scale and do it again and choose location, no. So maybe in the solidify we can change the orientation of the solidify modifiers by changing the offset like this. Okay, so now if we add the solidify modifier like this and increment the level viewport here to 2 and click with the right mouse button and choose shade smooth like this. So now we have a nice looking piece. So in the solidify modifier we can change the thickness here. Press shift and to change the thickness slowly like this to see the result here. Okay, like this. Go to edit mode here and we can add some edge loops here. So here we can add an edge loop here, an edge loop here, okay. Go to object mode and unhide the other piece with Alt H and select this piece and add a subdivision surface like this. Increment the levels viewport like this. Click with the right mouse button and choose shade smooth like this, and select this piece and move it up. In the edit mode select everything with A key and move it like this. So in the object mode select this piece here and go to edit mode. In the face selection mode select this face, you can see it in the wireframe, and insert another face with I key like this. Go to solid shader with C key and see the result here. Okay, and now if we select this piece and we now if we need to apply the mirror modifier here and the solidify here. Now select these two pieces with the shift key and the left mouse button here. We can join them with Ctrl J like this. So now it's a one piece. We can move it with the G key like this. So now if we go to the top view with the 7 numpad key, select this background image, delete it with X key, Now place the cursor in the middle of the view with Shift C, like this. Now we can add a different background image. So with Shift A, go to Image, select Background, and select this picture here. Scale it like this. Okay. Go to the wireframe with Z key, and now select this piece and move it with G key to this position here. Scale it with S key, move it with G key like this, and scale it with S key. Okay. Now go to the front view with one numpad key and move this piece up on the Z-axis like this, and put it right here. Go to the solid shader and see what we did with this piece. Okay, good. And now we have to model the other piece of the barrel. So go to the top view with 7 numpad key and in the wireframe here. Now we need to model this piece. So we can add a cylinder with Shift A, go to Mesh and select cylinder. Change the number of vertices to 8. Move it with G key to this position and scale it with S key to fit the background image. Okay. Now we can move it up on the Z-axis like this. And put it right here. Now go to the edit mode with tab key, and in the solid shader with Z key select this face, and move it down like this. Go to the object mode with tab key and move the cylinder down like this. Now go to the top view in the wireframe and in the edit mode with this face selected, so we can insert another face with I key like this, and now extrude and move it up on the Z-axis like this. Select this bottom face here and delete it with X key. Go to the solid shader, and now we can add a subdivision surface like this, and here select this face, insert another face with I key, and here add 2 edge loops with Ctrl R and the middle mouse button. Add another edge loop here. Go to the object mode with tab key and click with the right mouse button and choose shade smooth like this. We can increment the levels viewport here. So now we have the other piece of the barrel modeled. And this is the end of the modeling process of this barrel. So I hope you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to see the next video.